Okay, so question 10 is the one that I said was really, really tricky, and it was actually secondary school level stuff. So have a look at that image. I will sketch an image out on a separate page, but again, I don't have enough space, so I won't be working on this page. I will be working on a separate blank page, okay? Okay, so question 10 really was one for your parents. It's because actually it covers a lot of stuff that you won't actually be doing until you get to secondary school. Okay, so you're given a lot of information for this one. So we've got our triangle, very badly drawn by Mrs. Rushford, and it's on the X and Y axis. That's my X axis, that's my Y axis. Okay, now the information that I'm given is that that is at the position A3. So we don't know where it is on the X axis, but we do know this one, which is -5, 3. So that's, we've given full information. And point C, we are told it is 0, 15. Okay, so we're given most information we need for those 2 points, but we're not given everything we need for the final point B. Now, to make it easier, I'm going to give these triangles some names. So there is, let's call that, I don't know, triangle C and triangle D, just for ease, so you know what I'm referring to. Now, I've been given the area. I'm told that the area is 126 units squared. So it could be centimetres, it could be metres. They haven't told you. Okay, now remember, my formula for area is height times base divided by 2. Okay, so that has happened to get us 126 units squared. But to be able to do that, I need to work out what the height is. Okay, now if we're looking at our shape, we're told that this is point 0 here. Okay, now remember the second coordinate is the y coordinate. So the bottom of this is at 0, 3 here. Okay, the top is at 0, 15. So what is the distance between here and here? It's the difference between 3 and 15. So this particular one, the height is 12 units, whatever 12 units are. So I can start putting this into my formula. So 12 multiplied by base divided by 2 equals 126 units squared. Now I can't work out the base yet. I haven't got enough information. So what I'm going to do is actually calculate it from here. So I can use the inverse to help me. So 126 is 12 times b divided by 2. So I'm going to use the inverse. I'm going to deal with this 2 to start off with. So 126 multiplied by 2 would equal 12 times b. 126 multiplied by 2 is 252. 252 is the same as 12 times b. Okay, now I've got to keep using the inverse because I've got to find out what b is. So instead of it being multiply on this side, I'm going to do it as divide on this side. So I'm going to say 252 divided by 12. Pen is blowing up, sorry. Divided by 12. Let's get rid of that so it looks neater. 252 divided by 12 equals b. So 12s into 2 don't go, 12s into 25 go in twice, with 1 left over. 12s into 12 go in once. Okay, so b equals 21. Now that is the whole base, the whole thing going from here all the way to there is 21. Okay. Now, this is where it starts getting slightly confusing. We're introducing a new idea, okay? And it is Pythagoras Theorem. Okay. On any triangle, you have a variety of sides. So you have a base, a height, and the one that joins the two is your hypotenuse. I'm going to write hypot just for ease. Okay, now on both the triangles, we know the height now. We don't know the base on both of them, and we definitely don't know the hypotenuse yet. So that is what we've got to work out now. Pythagorean theorem has a formula to work out the hypotenuse of any shape. So it is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to say the base is a plus the height squared equals my hypotenuse squared. Okay, so we're going to use that knowledge to help us. So I know the base, if I go back to my triangle here, I've worked it out that that bit of the base is 5. That bit is 12. Now, can I use anything to help me work this bit out? Well, okay, if I know the whole thing is 21 and that bit is 5, this bit must be 16 because 5 plus 16 equals 21. So I've got a fair bit of information. Okay, the height for both of them is 12, and I now know the base for both of them, so I can use that to calculate the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's do triangle C first. So my base is 5, so I've got to do 5 squared plus the height squared, 12 squared, equals my hypotenuse, C squared. Okay, so 5 times itself, 5 squared, is 25, plus 12 squared, which is 144, equals C squared. Now, if I add that up correctly, that is going to give me 169. So 169 is C squared, but I don't want C squared. What I want is the number that was multiplied by itself to get to 169. Now, I'm guessing if your parents were involved, which is exactly what I did, you went straight to your calculator. Now, what we're trying to find out is something called the square root. Okay, so if we're looking at the one we did before, 5 squared gives me 25, but the square root of 25, the thing that you multiplied by itself to get there, was 5. Okay, so you're looking for the thing that was multiplied by itself. So the square root, and it's shown by a little sort of tick thing, of 169 is 13, and I can prove that to you. 13 multiplied by 13. So 3 3s are 9, 1 3 is 3, 3 1s are 3, 1 1 is 1, add it together, 169. Okay, so that's my square root. Now, parents and I will have cheated and used a calculator to do that, but it is something you will be able to do when you're at secondary school. So I now know, I'm going back here, that this line here is 13 units long, just by using Pythagorean theorem to get to that answer. Okay, so now I've got to look at the other, we're looking at triangle D. My height is 12. I'd worked out 16 as my base, so I need to do the same type of calculation. So my base was 16. Pen has decided to stop working. My base was 16, so I'm going to do 16 squared plus my height, 12 squared, equals C squared, my hypotenuse. Okay, so 16 times 16, don't know my 16 times table, so I'm going to work it out. So 16 times 16, 6 6 is a 36, 1 6 is 6, add the 3 gives me 9, place my 0, 6 1s are 6, 1 1 is 1, add it all together, 6 add 0 gives me 6, 9 add 6 gives me 15, 1 add 1 gives me 2. So I've got 256 on this side, which is 16 squared. Add, you all should know this one, 144 is 12 squared. So 256 add 144, let's write it out properly. 256 add 144. So 6 add 4 gives me 0, sorry, gives me 10. 5 add 1 add 4 gives me 10. 2 add 1 gives me 4. So that is 400, but I'm looking for the square root of 400. Now, hopefully, If you know your 2 times table, you know 2 times 2 is 4. So my square root is 20, because 20 times 20 gives me 400. So that has now given me my hypotenuse of 20. Back over here. Now I'm going to see if I can get my pen to change colour. It might not. Ooh, how exciting. Right. Just so I can show you what I'm doing now. The question asks for the perimeter. So we've done all of that work just to get to the value of all the sides. So I know that this base here is 21 because I worked out the total. So I've got 21. Add my hypotenuse over here, this side here, which is 13. Add my other hypotenuse on the other triangle, which is 20. That has given me the total of the entire shape. So 1 add 3 gives me 4. 2 add 1 add 2 gives me 5. So the perimeter of the entire shape is 54 units.